I'm Matt Parker and I'm here at Waterstones Piccadilly because my new book, Love Triangle, is being published today. I am very excited, and while I'm largely known for my online work, I've been a YouTuber for over 10 years now. I love writing books, which may seem a bit old-fashioned, but I've also been an author for over 10 years. That's partly because I only write a book every 5 years. So I'm not rushing through them. There's been 3. Fence Post Problem. The new one, Humble Pie, is here. We didn't put it there. That's just where Waterstones keeps it. And the height of the pile, that's not because no one's buying it. There's going to be a massive rush later in the day. So the height of the pile is how important the book is. In fact, I'm just going to pop a couple more just around here so they're easier to find. And my first book, Things to Make and Do in the Fourth Dimension, is down there. But given that now Love Triangle is finally out after years of work, I thought I would come to an actual bookstore so I can talk about my N favorite things about publishing a physical book. Number 0, the price. So the price of the book is not really down to the retailer, quite. The publisher gets to choose the prices. Even it's printed on the inside of the book here. And this book was going to be $24.99, very standard price for a hardback of this nature. But then I was thinking, how can I save you some money? So I went to Penguin and said, did you know that 2,485 is a triangle number? So if you make the price £24.85, a slight saving, you're welcome, that would be a triangle number of pennies. And they did it. They made it $24.85. They then did write a triangle number of pennies underneath. I think they're making fun of me. I didn't ask them to do that. They did that. So, so there you are, saving you money. Although this is very much an upper bound. Bookshops can sell it for that much or less. But you know, support your favorite bookshop, which is Waterstones. Number 1, the front matter. That's all the kind of admin at the beginning of the book. Is everything at the front before the book starts, which includes the title page. So if you want to check out the title, the person who published it, the person who wrote it, that's all there. Just inside that, on the back of the title page, is the copyright page. That's where you go if you want to find out like what font was used to set the book, that sort of information, as well as the edition number. Now this is interesting. So there'll be a tiny number there, which in my case is 001, because this is a first edition. It's a first print. This is from the first lot of books that were ever printed, and some people get very obsessed with collecting a first edition. I need to say that is different to the trade paperback, which comes out at the same time. Some countries will get the trade paperback. So Australia, this is what you get. Other countries get the hardback. So UK, this is what you get. America, you will get a hardback different to this because we will make some slight changes to the text for the US edition. And then later, about a year from now, you get the actual paperback. So the true paperback, which doesn't exist yet for Love Triangle, is smaller than the trade paperback. So, and this is roughly the same amount of content and numbers of words. It's just a smaller, cheaper in every sense version of the book. Whereas the first edition, first print run hardback, that's like the collector's edition. And if you go into a bookshop like this, bit of a lucky dip. Depends how fast the first editions get sold out. If you buy it direct from me, by the way, I've got all first editions, so I can guarantee that, but that will cost more money. The other thing to bear in mind is if you do collect, if you find a first edition when you go into a bookshop and locate that 001, that's going to be the version of the book with the maximum number of mistakes. I just had a quick count of all the things I've asked the publishers to change since this print run, and there were 22 things. Some of them are just, I think this image will be better a page later, stuff we didn't catch at the time because we did several iterations of the typesetting and layout. Other stuff is like maths errors that were my fault. So in there somewhere I describe a regular equilateral dodecahedron when it should be an equilateral pentagonal dodecahedron. Very different shapes, I think we can all agree. So this will have the wrong one in it, I'm very sorry. And some are just like one sentence had the word at in it twice by accident. So we took one of them out. So there's just like some pretty standard typo-esque things in there. Oh, and there are 2 images in here which weren't meant to be in there. They were holding images from when I was just writing like the very first draft, I think, and we just totally forgot to swap them out for the final ones. So good luck finding those. So that's the joy of the first edition. You may have seen there's a lot more on the back of this. Look at all this other stuff. I didn't mess with any of this. And I have on previous books, the ISBN, I swapped that out for the check digit calculation to show you it's a valid ISBN. The environmental message, one of my books that contained the sentence, all numbers have been made from recycled prime factors where possible. But this time, I left it alone because I had a bigger ask I wanted to spend my publisher goodwill on. Number 2, I spent most of my publisher goodwill on the page numbers. I've always had fun with these. My first book started from 0, which was exciting at the time, quite tame now, and that's lived on. All my books have chapter 0 for the introduction in the contents. Second book, Humble Pie, the numbers went backwards, and then they had a rollover error when they crashed. Thought that was very funny. And you may have noticed, for Love Triangle, they're not whole numbers. So the page numbers start at 0, they very gently go up to 1, and then they come all the way back down to 0, down to -1, then back up again, because every single page, the number at the bottom, I've done the sign function of the page number at the bottom, and it means page numbers are no longer unique because the sign function gives you multiple angles will give you the same sign value, and that is annoying in terms of page numbers and negative numbers, because then getting them in the right order is a bit complicated. But you're learning an important lesson about using trigonometric functions, because it's a book about trigonometry. I thought it'd be funny for people to experience the annoyance of sine not giving you, a unique match from angle to value by doing it in the page numbers. And I've had to do a lot of working with the typesetting, working with copy editors, making changes, alterations. I've had to refer to a lot of specific things in this book over the last year of getting it finished. So of all the people who have been annoyed by the page numbers, no one has suffered as much as me. It's probably appropriate because it was my own ridiculous idea. Number N, the index. So when you're looking at an index in a book and you're like, why doesn't this tell me where the words I'm looking at are actually on the page? Why doesn't it give me the polar coordinates in terms of the distance from the bottom left-hand corner of the page and the angle I'd need to follow that distance to find the words? I got you covered. The index gives you the polar coordinates of all of and they're all groups of 3 words. So everything in the index is a run of 3 words. Somewhere in the book gives you the page number, which again is the sign of the page number. So there'll be 2 different pages with that page number. You've got to find the right one, but once you do, you can then use the polar coordinates to locate the word. I've had a lot of fun with the index. So this is what happens when you write, we write our own code to generate the index automatically. So Penguin send me all the typesetting, and me and my coding buddy Andrew Taylor write some code to automatically generate that index. So there you are. Those are the things I put in the book. Of course, it's got some content in there as well. If you've watched all my videos, there's a few classics in there with some extra information about them, and the rest of it is all new. So please do check it out. On sale now. You can find it places like this in Waterstones. And while I've been stood here, a staff member came over to ask why the price in the system is $24.85. So I got to talk about triangle numbers again. The system works. But I do have to wrap up now. Please buy the book. This has been great. I need to go now because ironically, by standing here filming, I'm blocking people from getting into the maths and science section to be able to actually buy it. So I'm done. Buy the book.